just seen from SK is really good. They now need to continue that again for another 2 sets.
They picked up Shelly a couple of times, which was one of the Buffy brawlers we haven't seen too often yesterday. Is she just not that good? Is there a reason why we don't see her too often? And is that why SK Gaming is not really prevailing?
I don't think it's the brawler at all. I think that it's SK stuck inside their own heads right now. They've had a roster change. Sometimes they take time to then, even out the creases, so to speak. CMM have got nothing to lose. That's what makes them dangerous. They haven't got these massive amount of expectations on their shoulders.
That is so true, CMM. They just want, they're probably happy to be here right now. If they can take a win against SK Gaming, that would obviously shake up the region. And that in the very first month, those points are so important to establish yourself, put yourself into a good position for the rest of the season, Trev.
Yeah, well, Mina going to come in as the first then from SK Gaming. I like that pick, really solid. The shield that you can place down with the gadget is still so strong, stopping pretty much all projectiles from coming inside it. CMM back to them with 2 picks. Ban-wise, we're looking at the 3 very aggressive and tanky brawlers from SK Gaming. They don't want to play the Mortis, Ali or Frank, which gives it a bit more, chance for CMM to just kind of run them down and beat them that way when they know they are in reality the better team mechanically. And then the Ems, the Pierce and the Spike on the other side, which are 3 solid bans from them as well. Finks coming in from CMM, good pick.
Yeah, I quite like it. I think at this stage it's hard to go too aggressive considering that Amber is still a very viable option that really takes away that unpredictability in which it brings. It's definitely something strong for the mid to combine with the Finks wouldn't be the worst of shouts here. I think Gus could still have a good place in this kind of map and mode. Let's see how CMM want to go about things, but some Buffy brawlers could be an option. I mean, certainly, well, we talked about Stu earlier. Sunny's happy.
I hope for your sake it works, I really do. After I spoke so bad about the brawler, I'm really hoping for your sake it does work.
I was just having a little celebratory dance over here. I'm super happy to see Stu come out twice this week.
Emir hoş geldin.
Finks have been actually the most pickup brawlers in scrims across EMEA last 2 weeks. So I'm not surprised to see those 2 Pierce actually banned out. A little surprised.
Aleykümselam Emir Duran Kral. Hoş geldin. Senin gibi bir makine buralara gelince ortamın havası hemen değişiyor. Sahaları yakmaya hazır mısın?
Was a Poco comp. Poco
you might get it.
Exactly. And now we have already 2 tanks on the side of SK Gaming. I kind of see a Poco here. Glowbird, of course, could be an option next month. Actually, still banned this month. But I'm sure we're going to see some action from him too. Byron, maybe Gus again. Many options here, but it's probably going to be a healer, right?
We can do this. Not the healer I was expecting, though, honestly. Poco, Byron, or Gus were my 3, and they've gone Pam. It's still very good, especially on this map. Lou gonna come in. Definitely a bit of a kryptonite for.
Adamsın Emir Duran Kral. Seninle her yola çıkılır. Sen ne dersen o. Sahaların tartışmasız tek makinesi sensin valla.
I love the way I'm saying, SK Gaming don't want to bring in the tanks. They don't want to have this be kind of a bit of an unpredictable matchup, and then they just run it down themselves. But that appears it's the way it's going.
This is exactly what Zeta Division did yesterday. 2 tanks or 2 assassins, pairing it with either a damage dealer or a healer. So SK Gaming, I think they do well, finally picking something like this up. FACMM, honestly at this point, they would take this win with pride, and I would be super happy for them.
Well, I feel they need to take this win in this set, because the longer they leave it, the more SK get warmed back up and the who they are. OP on this right-hand side, now going to struggle as Ramika breaks that top L wall. And so far, it's SK that are firmly on this zone.
I mean, lovely stuff from Remika so far on that Stu, doing a lot of work, but it has been all SK Gaming getting the percentage down, and Kello not taking any opportunities to heal up here. And regardless of getting 2 kills and just leaving Naui alone, they haven't really done too much. Here's the shield from OP as well, doesn't have any ammo to make anything work, and they're getting so many kills, but nothing for it.
So far, objectively, SK have been much more focused on this zone. But now CMM being resourceful, bring in some of their utility. OP has got the dancing flames on his right-hand side, though. That's a concern. Enough to make CMM back off.
Super heavy aggression here, a little breakthrough. Didn't, I don't think, do what he wanted. And they're in the back lines of Stu, doing a good job of kind of dual-wielding him, dealing with them both. OP in the back lines now, trying to get Kello down, but can't. But Pam will put the nail in the coffin for him, but CMM are more than back in this.
Yeah, this Fink Super really helping hand. A lot of the shots that were coming their way. Hypercharge now popped by Ramika. Let's ring the map with flames to rival that of the Draco. And slowly but surely, CMM are starting to bring back this objective. It's neck and neck, 63%.
Söyle Emir Duran Kral, dök içine. Kulağım sende. Yine hangi efsane taktikle sahaları titreteceksin anlat bakalım makine.
Now SK hold as his hypercharge of OPE decimates everyone in his weight. Now does Kello, who will fall swiftly after, and SK Gaming have just been able to hold on to claim this first game.
That is lovely from SK Gaming. There was chances for CMM in there. There really was. They played some seriously good Brawl Stars at times, but as soon as that Draco super hits, you've got no chance unless you've got a big answer for it, like a hypercharge drone from the Lou. So there's a chance. I think they are absolutely in this set. They just started really slow, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I said, the longer this is drawn out, the more SK Gaming will start to dig deep and know the ramifications of a loss at such an early stage of the season. Every month matters now. There has never been fewer spots for the World Finals and Brawl Cup for EMEA now. It's not the same as 2025. You've got to be on your A game at every single moment.
Well, this is one way to have a better start. Ope wasted his super, they've got full control of the zone, Pam's down. They're in a wonderful spot right now. Yoshi trying to rotate down this left-hand side, and Dekai still has this super on the zone, kind of on the floor, sorry, and now he's having to wait that one out. And they've got a wonderful lead so far. Ope still yet to find another super after wasting his first, and Fix will throw down one of his own along with another Lou ice ring.
This feels like a lack of urgency from SK Gaming almost. Yoshi needs to probably flank around this left-hand side and get behind the field of action. Nice healing station from Naui, but they're saying that with no cover to hand, it's immediately eradicated. He wasn't able to body block it himself. Now SK
Aleykümselam Yasin Kral, hoş geldin. Senin gibi bir makine gelmiş. Ortalık şimdiden ısınmaya başladı desene.
Love that wall break there from Remika on the left-hand side. Gives him a huge opportunity to pinch in when he's just in that pocket. Now he has to get inside this windmill here. And the super just flies straight past Dekai as he's got the Fink super down from Kello. Ope low. Does have to force a gadget, which means he won't have it in a few seconds when he comes back up. Another hyper there from CMM. And another one on top of that as well. Now he's decimated. And they're back on match point.
And look at that. Plenty of seconds to spare. And see another match point for them. They couldn't... Match point for them. They couldn't seal it in knockout. Can they seal it in hot zone? That is the question. We saw this before with them. They were just so consistent in skill. That nervousness of being able to actually do the unthinkable, that is now the demon in their head they've got to battle and secure.
Well, it needs to be a good start for CMM again. Same goes for SK Gaming if they want to remain in this game. And a good position early on for Ope. Didn't go down the left-hand side this time, and Remika will use the breakthrough. Now trying to burn some damage onto him, but he gets in that dragon form, breathing the fire. He's still burning, not looking too healthy, but yet again, it's back to game one, SK Gaming on top.
Yeah, no percent so far for CMM. And SK Gaming now on 40%. We've got regroup. Battle is down. OP still staying alive as well with a helping hand of the last stand gadgets. SK have done half of what they need to do now for CMM, submit control, and now awaiting their third. This is the time to win things back.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to have to be super cycle after super cycle for Kello and Dekai at the moment. They really need to keep on raining these down, otherwise that percentage just deficit they've early had against them is going to be a big, big issue. Ope going to get into the dragon now. I think he's got a gadget at hand as well. Super's there, and he's going to use the ice block. Try keep himself alive, but it doesn't last very long. Remika doing a lot of work. Scrap Sucker there for Naui as well, and he's just rotating to this right-hand side. Super placed down for Kello, but there was really no one there to support him until now.
We need more from Kello. These time warps are what helped CMM in the previous game so much. But that's a devastating hypercharge from Naui. It will provide so much for cushioning for SK Gaming despite the freeze of the Lou. They're staying firm. All three members now battling.
Aleykümselam Emir Duran Kral, hoş geldin. Sahaların asıl makinesi geldiğine göre rakipler şimdiden titremeye başlasın valla.
and now with this healing station in the back and then pinned in from 3 angles is surely the end of CMM.
Kelly popped a premature hypercharge now. SK Gaming grouping together and taking care of business. Ramika's still on the zone, doing his best to stay alive and heal up accordingly to Kai. Low HP, Kello is there, but SK Gaming will secure a set in the final hour.
There was absolutely a chance at the end. They just weren't finding that kill on the PAM, and his healing station keeping him in the mix for so long. Really nice stuff from SK again. Game 1, pretty much perfect. Game 2 really didn't go their way at all. But then in Game 3 again, they bounced back. And once more, CMM can't get the match point goal.
You've got to give it to CMM here. They keep their nerves under control, even though that first set goes towards SK Gaming after they've just lost Golden Gulch. But they're still will to fight. They want to take this home. They had 2 chances already, Art. They pushed none other than SK Gaming, #1 seed of EMEA in 2025, 3rd, 4th at the World Finals in 2025. They pushed them twice.
Aleykümselam Emir Duran Kral, hoş geldin. Yine sahaları yapmaya, kupaları toplamaya mı geldin be makine?
The teams are and have the most experience in their credentials are the ones that know what it takes to get past that mentality. It's a very, very tough thing, and so at the moment CMM are really doing exactly that. Despite some very strong stats, the gravity of what they're trying to achieve is really struggling to go around.
I do want to say that Stu pick worked out quite well, Trev.
Absolutely did. And listen, I'm sure, like, I didn't say ever it was a bad brawler. I said it's a boring favorite brawler. Like, I don't know anybody who's gone, I tell you what, I like a Stu.
Infinite supers, you know, just like zoom around the map. I mean, regardless, it didn't win it for them. That's the thing.
It did do well, though. It did really well. It was honestly the brawler that was making the biggest amount of work.
I felt was actually doing more.
Really?
I did. Those time warps were flowing so well in that second game. Towards the end, I didn't see enough of them from Kello.
I really liked all 3 members of CMM today. We also have to mention here, they play with 0 up until this point. Kello actually just joined the roster, so he's a guy that we have never seen on any small or big stage, and now immediately stepping up to play in...
Aleykümselam Emir Duran Kral, hoş geldin. Makine yine sahalara inmiş. Bugün hangi rakipleri tokatlıyoruz?
Something that we see quite often is that the newer teams struggle in the first set and then they wake up. Here it's the other way around.
Yeah, well, this is the final set. Either way you look at it, you know, for SK Gaming, they've now got all the momentum. I think that for CMM, they had to seal it either then in Hot Zone or prior to that in Knockouts. Going into the 5th, my money is back towards SK, despite how they're playing being a bit shaky. I think that they've just had that ability to now go, right, 1 more set.
I think that where it really helps to have a coach as well. SK Gaming 2-0 down. Pedro is there to help them calm their nerves, to prepare for the next set.
Aleykümselam Gültekin Kral, hoş geldin. Sahalarda kimin fırtına estireceği belli oldu. Makine yine iş başında. Aleykümselam Seni Kral, hoş geldin. Gözlerimiz yollarda kaldı. Bugün sahaları seninle sallayacağız makine.
Technically, I'd say once I did get reverse swept by SK Gaming, and it was not a nice feeling. I'll tell you that in a qualifier to qualify to the month final, I was crying in my shower afterwards.
I bet, yeah.
Well, I hope FSCMM still take this one with pride, and they still did push SK Gaming twice to a match point. Do that, you know, that's still a very good, successful feat, but it's not over yet. They can still take this one home. They can still be the ones to make it all the way to the grand finals, and SK Gaming knocked out right in the quarters. We're now on bridge too far. A map I kind of wanted to see, so I guess I'm not too unhappy with the outcome here. Chuck is actually banned out in this series. Eve is going to be picked up on the right-hand side. A brawler we talked about yesterday as she's nowhere near meta, never picked up, but if she's good, then on bridge too far.
I mean, it makes perfect sense here.
Aleykümselam Emir Duran Kral, hoş geldin. Sahaların asıl makinesi geldi. Şimdi tüm rakipler kara kara düşünsün.
I really do. It's often forgotten, but I like that CMM are considering it massively so. I think it wouldn't be the worst place for a Juju here. I think that in the current meta, she's really kind of out of it. It's possible. It depends about any potential wall breakers coming through at a later stage of this. But I think that so far, I'm liking what CMM are bringing.
Yeah, I think it's really good. If you can manage to cycle out so many of the Eve supers, get your hypercharge, have them just non-stop coming in against, you know, these usual single projectile brawlers on a map like this, And there's the Juju that you mentioned. So the throw is coming in, and I do think it can work. I think it can work really, really well, but at the same time, I think it can just as easily be pinned in spawn and do nothing.
Söyle bakalım Emir Duran Kral, kulaklarım sende. Senin gibi bir makineden ne gelse dinlemeye hazırım. Dökül bakalım.
To dodge the incoming shots. Eve also particularly good against Nani, that has quite a slow reload speed with her little spawns whenever she has a super. Last pick now for SK Gaming, probably something with even more damage, as they right now just want to hold control. Never mind, it's going to be a defense actually. Otis coming in. Seems like they do expect FACMM to come in with some aggression themselves, with 8-bit Eve, Juju, Otis and Nani on the map so far. Arc, it's going to be a very passive, slow-paced game.
Are they expecting maybe like a Miko? Potentially, is that what the Otis is on their idea? I mean,
Aleykümselam Gültekin Kral. Dök içine bakayım. Seni dinlemek için bütün kodlarımı siper ettim, bekliyorum. Söyle makine.
I think is a good shout. And I'm pretty sure that CMM may have just dodged the bullet by not doubling down on what they were maybe.
Selam Zeynep Kraliçe. Hoş geldin canım. Senin gibi bir makine sahalara indiğine göre bugün kupalar havada uçuşacak demektir.
Now the question is that Otis going to be doing as much against the lineup which they're looking into?
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. They had to have that precautionary measure, absolutely, in case something more aggressive did come down. But I like that pivot from CMM. They maybe were going to go something aggressive, but now bringing in a brawler with great DPS, the ability to break grass, to break walls, kind of open. I think there's unbreakable walls on one.
Söyle bakalım Emir Duran Kral. Kulaklarım sende. Senin gibi bir makineden ne gelse başın üstüne. Dökül bakalım neymiş o.
That's the advantage of the last pick here. They had to pick up Otis. Let's see how it bears out. Last set of this series. SK Gaming versus FACMN.
Well, an early break there with the rocket fuel for Takai. And OP just trying to maneuver nicely so as well forwards, getting some good taps with the poison there, and the fuel will trickle him down. As Yoshi staying firmly on that right hand side, a good solid rock as always.
Aleykümselam OSB'nin Kral. Hoş geldin. Sen sahalara adım attın ya. Rakipler şimdiden kupa kaybetme korkusuyla titremeye başlamıştır makine. Söyle bakalım Emir Duran Kral. Dökül içindekileri. Senin gibi bir makineden ne gelse başımın üstüne. Kulaklarım sende.
Well, Naui again on this Nani pick is the man to watch for SK Gaming. Going to be trying to cycle those peeps in. I think with the help of the hand of the star power of tempered steel, so they can stay more present whilst in that peep form.
Gültekin Kral. O nasıl laf öyle? Yakışmadı senin gibi bir makineye. Sen gel o enerjini rakipleri tokatlamaya harca da kupaları toplayalım.
Great pinch from Takai though, and then Remika pinches the left-hand side as well. So 8-bit should be able to heal and get up. Same with the Brock here as he does outrange the Otis, but Nani coming in with a hypercharge now, just running him down and pops that super as well. Probably got the TP and does go straight for him. Can't find the kill, goes down himself. What a move.
Emin Kral, sen istersen bana bir de istersen Efsane. Senin gibi bir makine ne dese başım üstüne. Sahaları titretmeye devam. Şovunu yap Kral.
Trickle down, so it's still at 87% on the SK Gaming safe. If nothing changes, then there's enough to win the game. Now he as well, renowned for his Nani play. So bringing it in at this stage of the competition, I quite like. You see how little damage is really being dealt with.
Aleykümselam Emin Kral. Hoş geldin sahalara. Makine gibi daldın yayına. Senin gelişinle rakipler şimdiden kupa kaybetmeye başladı bile.
That's a waste of a hypercharge. Full control now in the hands of SK Gaming. Still a chance though as they tank that shot, 1% in it, but SK holding so firm. Takai popping a hypercharge, needs to move. Remika moving up. Kello going for the damage as well, but there's a TP up top. Ope falls, the damage starts to come down, but Nani did enough on the opposing side, and SK Gaming go to match point.
What a difference a few set make for SK Gaming now.
Eyvallah Gültekin Kral. Aslan olan sensin. Biz senin o muazzam şovunu izlerken coşuyoruz sadece. Makine gibi kükreyip sahaları inletmeye devam.
Yeah, absolutely. And CMM definitely had more chances to get some damage in there as well. Now he just a few mishaps on the nanny TPs, sometimes not having as much luck as I'm sure I'd have hoped. Kello really
Selam İrem Kral. Hoş geldin. Kupalar seni görünce heyecandan titremeye başladı bile. Tam bir makinesin.
The helping hand now of that damage booster. Takai will have a lot more fuel to his rockets. Good taps onto OPE and Yoshi, clearing up some space.
Can feda sana Zeynep. Sen de benim favori makinemisin. Sahalarda kupa kraliçesi gibi esmeye devam et. Cansın kral.
Grigri coming in, but he's not really getting a lot back from that. Just buys himself a bit of time and doesn't take any damage whilst the teammate's down. There's the wall break, giving him a bit of a better angle towards Ope there, but he's just going to go to the right side and pinch there instead.
Yeah, OP is getting great value.
O senin adamlığın Emir Duran Kral. Senin gibi bir makineyle sağlığın tadı başka oluyor. Cansın, kupaları tokatlamaya tam gaz devam.
Yeah, there's the fat splatter and that'll add 2% a tick more for the side of SK Gaming. Hypercharge coming in from Naui as well. OP trying to make a move through the middle, but doesn't really find too much now. Good kill there from Naui, and that's going to be the first crack gone for the side of SK.
Much better, and a peep earned there by Naui. Takai really struggling on this right-hand side versus Yoshi. He might opt to go back to
Gültekin Kras, seni aklamak ne haddimize. Sen sahaların asıl fırtınasısın. Her zaman radarımızdasın makine.
And now he's going to get traded out. This might be the chance for them to re-crack that safe and bring it even. With 30 seconds left, we need a lot from CMM.
This could be it now for Kello, getting some really consecutive shots onto the safe with the help of the extra credits, gadgets. Now 75% apiece. Takai behind the charge now. If he connects to some of the safe, it could be huge. But a knockback from Naui might give some space for SK to respond.
I mean, that's huge as well from Kello. Great defense. Remika has control through this mid. Kello needs to be stopped on the left-hand side, which means Ope can't go aggressive through the mid. There's the Grigri to dual wheel the lanes, but he's going to fall, and Naui has to use a super and a hypercharge to get up, and he won't. Brilliance from CMM to get their third match. I think maybe more than three actually, because they've had a lot of match points prior to SK winning one back. But they've had match point after match point after match point and haven't been able to close it out. Can they do it now?
Gültekin Kral, seni anlatmaya kelimeler yetmez. Tam bir kupa canavarı makinesin. Sahalarda adın geçince rakipler titremeye başlıyor. Şovuna devam et kral.
Will SK Gaming put a stop to this madness? We are about to find out. It's such a very close set. A couple of percent in it. Both sides really are struggling somewhat in different ways.
Yeah, Lope gadget quickly and goes forwards, but luckily traded out. I think a little bit of a clip came in there from Naui on the right-hand side as well. Takai, I was honestly expecting more from him in this Otis matchup. He probably will outrange him with the explosion radius and goes for a rocket fuel to get that extra radius going as well. Gets a hit, but nothing more back.
Takai just waiting out the fat splatter on the left. OP is doing a fantastic job, by the way, of just juggling this mid-side lane. It's now down to really Takai to try and break some of that up, get a bit of angle onto him. He'll go for the push, though, opting to prioritize Yoshi, who he has been struggling with just a touch. Naui, the hypercharge now, waiting for these pests to go down to not interfere with that peak, no doubt. Oh, but Ramika strikes.
Eyvallah Gültekin Kral, senin o enerjin yeter. Sahaları yakıp kavururken buralara renk katıyorsun. Tam bir makinesin.
Now he pops a hypercharge to try and get something done, but Kello still dealing damage to the safe. They get that first crack down, and 93% still up top. Should be a TP from Naui, but not sure if he's going to get much back from it. Kello with another extra credits on safe, but only 1 or 2% taken.
Yeah, good defense there from SK. That could have been a bad situation going worse. Kai's got to juke for his life now. He's got no support. He's double matched between Naui and Yoshi. Ramika would love to get a little egg on the map here. Bringing some pests to be able to tank some of these shots. Rocket fuel from Takai. And meanwhile, Kello should maybe fall, but staying alive on 800 HP. But that mute is going to trickle down as well. CMM are doing well, but it is on a knife's edge.
Well, there's 40 seconds left. SK don't seem to be getting control. The waste of a Grigri as well. Good kill on the right-hand side from Yoshi. Should allow him to go up, and a lovely one on the left too. But the Eve Pets with this hypercharge, keeping them mostly at bay and not letting him get that damage. And there's only 57 on SK's.
If Ramika can get just a couple of percent, just 7% on this safe to crack it, it would be massive, but now 20%. SK Gaming behind. Rokello cracks the safe. SK Gaming are in trouble.
They need to make the move now. Still a crack left on CMM safe before they can even start to get the damage to next. 12 seconds, and this might be a defense. Down goes Otis on the left-hand side. Now he falls as well. And Kello on his debut, spinning on SK Gaming as they take them down in a 5-set series to make the semis.
2026 seems to be the year of the underdogs. No doubt about it. For SK Gaming, a squad that only went down in the semi-finals of the world stage, now out in the quarters of their debut monthly final. This will send shockwaves throughout EMEA.
It definitely leaves me in shock, let's put it that way. The hatchlings from Eve definitely worked out. Remika with the most kills on the side of FACMN. Was a good pick coming into this. We talked about it. SK Gaming had to pick up that Otis just to prevent a tank from being picked up. Yoshi did well on the brawler. And I don't think it's just a draft. Overall, FACMM just a stronger team today. A well-deserved win.
Yeah, that crack huge as well there in that moment. Really nice stuff from CMM. And you can see as well on SK Gaming's faces, not pleased about that, and who would be? When you've been in a position getting to the grand finals, winning them, coming out of last year as the top team.
Efendim Bağız Kral, buraların reisi. Söyle bakalım sağların makinesi. Seni dinliyorum kral.
They were 2 up, multiple match points, and eventually get it done. In my eyes, that's a deserving win.
I'm told we have to look at talent predictions. We can just skip that, right?
I mean, we don't need to linger. We don't need to linger. It's fine.
I would like to change something.
Moving on.
Can we please have me choose the other team in
On
each
every
single quarter?
qualifier.
It's the same thing that happened yesterday already. We only had one single prediction right, even though we went with what probably 99% of the community went with, just the obvious choice. If Seed 1 faces off against a team that we've never really seen in the monthly final, that has faced off against them twice last year already, Arc, of course you go with SK Gaming.
Yeah, you got to go with the favorites, but for me, that is a match that SK Gaming should not be losing.
Oh, really?
9 times out of 10, yeah, maybe even 10 times out of 10, they should not be losing that match. CMM played impeccable today. They played fantastic. But regardless of how well they are, even on their best of days, SK Gaming blew it.
I'm super happy for them because Remika and Dekai, they've been in the scene for such a long time. We've seen them pop up every now and then. They've won a
Arkadaşlar
couple of
kimler
similar
burada?
tournaments, and now this is a breakthrough for them. And as you said, Ark, this is going to shock the whole region. We're looking at the brackets now. CMM is going to move on into the semi-finals. And now they're facing off against either Team Heretics or
Şu anda oyunda değiliz. Kimseye arkadaş ekleyemem.
They might as well make it all the way to the grand finals.
Yeah.
Who do you have it? If, let's say, Heretics makes it through or Foot makes it through.
It only gets easier for CMM from here, to be honest. It only gets easier, in my opinion. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I probably will still pick against them. They've put a great performance in. If you give me that SK Gaming versus CMM matchup 10 times, I'm picking SK every time, even after seeing that. Because I think that's usually how it would go. But as I said, SK have got to be on a bad day, if not their worst day, and CMM had to be on their absolute best, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, that is a match that SK cannot afford to lose. But Team Heretics for esports, going to be a very, very different story in that regard. I feel like these two teams, you know, are so well known to all of us, realistically here. Team Heretics, of course,